Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Valentine Sports Show. I'm your host, Frank Rampin, alongside Sal Grinstead, here to talk about another week of the NFL season. Week 3 wrapped up last night with Monday Night Football. Sal, how you doing today on this fine day?
I'm doing great, man. It was a crazy weekend. Before we get into those, I do want to do a quick shout out. The Tampa Bay Lightning, they won last night, their first preseason game against the Carolina Hurricanes. I know my Aunt Janice was watching that one, rooting on the Lightning, and I just want to say we all love you so much, and we miss you, Aunt Janice.
Hey, Aunt Janice, we love you. Let's go. And let's go Lightning. All right, so let's jump into it. We'll start with Thursday Night Football, first game of the week. Sal, your Miami Dolphins headed to Orchard Park for the final time to play at Highmark Stadium to play against the Buffalo Bills. It was a pretty competitive game. A lot of people did not give the Dolphins any chance coming into this game. What was the spread, like 12.5 or something crazy?
Yeah.
The Dolphins put up a good fight. The offense looked a lot better in the first half, all the way until really the fourth quarter. But the Bills end up winning 31-21. Sal, what'd you think about Tua and your guys on Thursday night?
We looked a lot better. Really, the game changer for us was, the roughing the punter by Zach Sealer in the fourth quarter. That, it's kind of the last person you would think would make that mistake. Kind of put the nail in the coffin for us. Then you're down 7 trying to drive in the fourth quarter. Anything can happen. Obviously, Tua threw a pick right there. We did look a lot better, though. I mean, the next 4 or 5 games are definitely favorable for us. Maybe get back on the winning side because now we're 0-3. But, I mean, James Cook is just continuing the ball. He's leading the league in leading the NFL in rushing touchdowns. And Josh Allen, dude, he just destroys us every year. 13-2 against us in his career, and he's now won 7 straight. So Oof. I'm just glad we don't have to play them for a few more weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it's always tough for the Dolphins to go up there to play in Buffalo against the Bills. It seems like the Bills kind of have their number there. But like you said, the Dolphins played a much better game they did in this one, obviously, than the weeks prior. But, I mean, that Zach Sealer roughing the punter really was brutal. And you just knew that the Buffalo offense and Josh Allen was going to score a touchdown on that drive after. You can't give teams like that and generational talent players like Josh Allen an extra opportunity. They're just going to kill you.
They're going to capitalize on that every single time. So
every time. All right, so let's dive into Sunday, the 1 o'clock slate. My Raiders played in the 1 o'clock slate this weekend, so might as well get our 2 teams out of here. They're our 2 trash franchises, right? So the Dolphins lose on Thursday. The Raiders traveled to Washington to play the Commanders without Jaden Daniels. He was hurt. Former Raider Marcus Mariota was playing against his former team and playing against his former head coach, Chip Kelly, who was the Raiders offensive coordinator. He was his coach at Oregon. And like you would guess, the Commanders commanded the entire game, and from the jump, it was over. Deebo Samuel returned the opening kickoff, 69 yards, and that basically was it. The Raiders' offense looked terrible. The Raiders' defense looked terrible, and they lost 41-20. And the special teams looked terrible. They gave up a 92-yard punt return. So that's all we're going to say about the Raiders today. They're trash, and we'll move on to next week,
Everything looks like a struggle for you guys on offense, man. It's hard to move the ball 5-6 yards. It looks tough. And then Gino, he's holding on to the ball so long, trying to get that big play downfield. And then he either takes a sack or he dumps it off late. I mean, you got to get that generational talent in the backfield. You got to get him in space, man. You got to let Genty work. But
I mean, see, the thing that bothers me the most, I guess we are going to say a couple more things about the Raiders. We have 2 generational talents on offense. We have 2.
Yep.
Brock Bowers is the best tight end in the football. He's a generational talent. We need to feed that guy the ball as much as we can. He needs at least 8 targets a game. Anything less than that, we're wrong, right? And our offensive line is just brutal, man. Like you said, Gino has been holding the ball for too long, for sure, these past 2 weeks. But we can't run the ball. I'm tired of hearing Genty's a bust. I'm tired of hearing it because anytime that dude gets a sliver of daylight, he picks up 7-8 yards, maybe 15. The first person never tackles him. He just doesn't have any holes to run through. Our offensive line is terrible, and the Raiders will continue to Raider.
And no matter how good you are, it's hard to get going when you're getting hit behind the line, 70% of your carries.
And a big one of the things that was brought up on Monday Night Football last night that Troy Aikman was saying, and they brought up a next-gen stat about it. I was talking all weekend about this stat, and they were talking about it last night. They brought up the stat that James Cook – or not James Cook, sorry. Why am I blanking? Derrick Henry and my gosh, who the hell Jahmyr Gibbs. They have they're 1 and 2 in average sprint speed by the time they get back to the line of scrimmage. So those guys are getting the ball, they're going downhill, and they're getting almost to max speed as fast as possible. And those are 2 of the best running backs in football. Obviously, Derrick Henry's had his whatever, but they're really good. There's a reason for it. They're running hard through the line of scrimmage. That helps without you're not getting hit in the backfield when you're running that fast.
Yeah.
So let's move on. Another 1 o'clock game. That was another blowout. The Minnesota Vikings versus the Cincinnati Bengals. The battle of the backup quarterbacks here. Joe Burrow out for 3 months with turf toe. Jake Browning filled in, and Carson Wentz filling in for J.J. McCarthy. One of them looked unbelievable, and one of them did not. Carson Wentz looked like MVP Carson Wentz 2016 or whatever, 2018 that was with the Eagles. He looked great. And Isaiah Rodgers, maybe the greatest day a cornerback has ever had in the history of football. 2 forced fumbles, a recovery touchdown, 66 yards, and then a pick 6 that was like 87 yards. So just a ridiculous day for Isaiah Rodgers, and the Vikings take down the Bengals 48-10 with Carson Wentz.
This begs the question: is this Vikings team going to be better with the rookie JJ, or I guess second year JJ McCarthy, who still has no experience, or the veteran Carson Wentz, who, I mean, he knows how to lead an offense. He's done it before. And it's not like he did too much this weekend, but they just looked so in rhythm all day. So it begs the question what you want to do there in Minnesota. And
we didn't even really get any of the Carson Wentz experience. Like usually it's like the good with the bad, you got to take them both, but this was all good. Maybe Kevin O'Connell whispered something into his ear that makes him a better quarterback, but he was not making those costly turnovers like we've seen him do when he was on the Colts and with the Chiefs last year. Like he looked really good.
And for the Bengals, you now have Jake Browning, who he's played 5 quarters, and he's leading the league in interceptions. So it also begs the question, do you want to go get another quarterback to fill in while Joe Burrow's out? You have Jameis Winston on the market, Kirk Cousins. There's whispers about Shadir Sanders coming that way. I mean, you know me, I'm a big Kirk O'Chains guy. I think he could lead this Bengals team and ball for them while Burrow's out.
Hey, and we saw him this weekend. We had a Kirk O'Chains sighting on Sunday after Penix struggled.
And it made my Sunday.
All right, another 1 o'clock game of the 9 that were played in the 1 o'clock window. The Pittsburgh Steelers traveled to Foxborough to play the New England Patriots, and this was a really weird game. Pittsburgh jumped on top early, 14-0. Then it was kind of a struggle throughout the rest of the game, both teams struggling. After that went up, the Steelers went up 14-0. The Patriots outgained Pittsburgh by 250 yards in the game. They kept getting down. The Patriots kept getting down into the red zone and turning it over. Ramondre Stevenson fumbled twice. Drake May threw a pick in the end zone. It was just a costly turnover after costly turnover for this Patriots team. 5 turnovers in the game, and the final score was 21-14.
This was an ugly game to watch. I mean, starting off with, congratulations to Aaron Rodgers. Jumps into 4th all-time in passing touchdowns, passing his old friend Brett Favre, one of the first true gunslingers. But yeah, it was an ugly game. I mean, Patriots had 5 turnovers, a pick in the end zone, like you said, a fumble in the end zone that resulted in a touchback, 3 more fumbles. It was just brutal. And, Ramondre, he started the year off great, but last year he had a fumbling problem, and it's starting to look like it's back. Is it time to give the rookie Travion Henderson more touches?
Why have they not been so far? I don't understand why they haven't been giving him the ball. Doesn't make any sense to me. He looks like he got maybe 5 carries in week 1 against the Raiders. He looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. Like he was so explosive last year for Ohio State.
They definitely started using him towards the end of this game because it's hard to put your running back out there when he's fumbled twice already. And then Drake May had 2 fumbles as well. It's just a really ugly game to watch. Neither team really wanted to win this game.
Yeah. This kind of reminded me of the LSU Florida game last week in college football, where Florida turned the ball over 5 times, but LSU only scored 20 points. Very similar game, this one and that one. Just a weird game, but the Steelers improved to 2-1. They're in first place in the AFC North right now. And
you
the
can
Patriots
never count out Rodgers, man, Mr. Discount Double Check.
He should bring that back. He hasn't done that celebration in forever. He should run in a touchdown this year and give him one of these. Like, I would love to see that.
He catches a lot of slander, man, but I love that guy.
He really does. I think that people that talk on TV just love to hate him. I really think that's what it is. They just love him. Yeah, he doesn't care at all.
He'll say whatever he wants.
Yeah. which is one thing in itself. But I think the way the media talks about him is like, this guy is one of the top 4 quarterbacks probably of all time,
Yeah.
and they're talking about him like he's some bum. Like, it's crazy. Go back into the blowout category in this 1 o'clock slate. There was only blowouts or close games. That was it. There were 7 games on Sunday that were decided in the final 2.5 minutes, and then the rest were just complete blowouts. The Indianapolis Colts look like arguably one of the best teams in the league, maybe the best team in the AFC right now. Them and the Chargers, they look like. They beat the Titans 41-20. 41-20. Jonathan Taylor ran for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. Michael Pittman had a touchdown. And who is this guy, Danny Dimes? Who is this guy? He made a play. Dude, they sent a massive blitz at him. I don't know when in the game this was. I think it was the second quarter. But they sent a massive blitz off the right side against him. And usually when he gets a blitz in his face, he kind of just crumbles. He reversed back in the pocket, did a spin move, cut up the pocket, and ran for 15 yards. I was, who's that guy? Who's that guy doing all this stuff? Like, what is going on with Daniel Jones right now?
New York's pissed, man. They get rid of him, and all of a sudden he's turning into Josh Allen. It's crazy. Indiana Jones, man, just leading this team. They're now 3-0. It's just outstanding. We haven't seen them start 3-0 since probably, Andrew Luck or Peyton Manning?
And they've scored more points through 3 games than Peyton Manning ever did through 3 games with the Colts. This is the best start the Colts have ever had, period. They've only punted 1 time. They have no turnovers. Like, it's unbelievable. Daniel Jones, 18 for 25, 228 and a touchdown, and then he ran for 27. Like, this guy is doing everything. They had a pick 6 by Kenny, what am I forgetting his name? Whatever. My God, Kenny Moore. Kenny Moore had a pick 6. But the Colts look like what we expected, like teams like the Broncos to look like. Like, they look unbelievable. It's shocking to me to see what this team has become. And if imagine back-to-back year, I think I brought this up last week, but imagine back-to-back years, Saquon runs for 2,000, and then Danny Dimes this year has a good year. I think I just have to quit watching football if I was a Giants fan.
Yeah, sorry about that, Liam.
Brutal. Another AFC South matchup. Colts Texans, we saw that one. Jaguars Texans now. 17-10 Jaguars win. They improved to 2-1, and the Texans are now 0-3. That offense looks horrible. The only person that can do anything on the Texans is Nico Collins, and then he had a costly fumble in this game, which led to the game-winning score from Jacksonville. So just a very shaky start to the year. And since 2000, teams that started 0-3, there's only been 1 team to make the playoffs after starting 0-3 in the last 25 years. And it was the 2018 Houston Texans with J.J. Watt and I believe Brock Osweiler. But the history is not kind to teams that are 0-3. So big hole for Houston to fight out of early in the season.
Yeah, this was a sloppy game to watch. I mean, both offenses struggled. You're seeing the Jags. I mean, their defense looks outstanding. They forced 3 more turnovers this week. They really could be 3-0. I mean, that controversial call last weekend against the Bengals. But even then, they had like 3 or 4 turnovers last weekend.
They lead the league.
The problem for them the question in Duval is, why can't we catch the football? They're leading the league in drop passes. Brian Thomas is a big culprit of that. But you watched this game even this week, and there was it looked like 4 or 5 drop passes. It was brutal. I mean, they're killing Trevor Lawrence's stats, but they're finding a way to win. They're 2-1, so hopefully they can put it together.
And like you mentioned, Sal, they lead the league in takeaways, their defense. So they lead the league in takeaways, but they also lead the league in drops. So the defense is doing well, but the offense, especially Brian Thomas, really hasn't been so great. He's been kind of shying away from contact. Yeah. Apparently he's got some sort of a wrist injury. Maybe that has something to do with it, but just not a good look from this Jacksonville offense so far. They've been struggling to score points. The defense has really been saving them.
Yeah, 100%. And like you mentioned, I mean, what is going on with the Texans offense? They're supposed to be like one of the best again. You have Nick Chubb, Nico Collins, Tank Dell's out, but this is still so many weapons around the field. But if Nico is covered, they cannot move the football whatsoever.
And it seems like they're still having problems on the offensive line too. That was the big problem last year. C.J. Stroud was running for his life. He was second in the league in sacks behind Caleb Williams last year. So they're going to have to shore that up. I mean, through 3 weeks, it kind of looks like more of the same.
Yeah,
Now let's head to Carolina for an absolute bludgeoning. The Carolina Panthers killed the Falcons this week, 30-0. Michael Penix Jr. had a horrible day, the worst day of his NFL career. He threw 2 picks in this game, first multi-interception game of his career, and first game he threw a pick 6. So brutal game. Carolina defense looked really good in this game, but this was shocking. After last Sunday night, watching the Falcon defense just disrupt the pocket against J.J. McCarthy and have him running for his life all game, they couldn't do anything against this Carolina team. And this was not what I was expecting at all.
It was kind of a weird game. I mean, obviously the Falcons turned it over a few times, but Panthers didn't really do anything to like light up the scoreboard or really win the game. They just kept getting the ball in favorable positions and then, putting points on the board. So that's really what good teams do. I mean, they capitalize on mistakes. But yeah, another rough game for Penix, under 200 yards again. Like I said, 2 interceptions. And then Kirk O'Chains, he got called in there in the fourth quarter. So it was cool to see.
Brutal game there. So now a better game. This one much, much better. Rams traveled to Philadelphia to play the Eagles, rematch of last year's divisional round, and really one of the best games of the playoffs last year. The only real team that gave the Eagles a problem during the end of last season during their playoff run was Los Angeles, and they came out swinging. They went up 26-7 in this game early. Jalen Hurts had 17 passing yards at halftime. 17 passing yards at halftime. They were getting booed off the field. The Philadelphia fans were losing their mind. And then they go in the locker room, they come back out, and everything was different. The entire offense changed. They actually were throwing the ball to A.J. Brown. He had a bunch of catches in the second half and a touchdown, his first of the year. Devontae Smith caught a touchdown, and Jalen Hurts ended the game with 4 touchdowns on the day.
Yeah, and A.J. Brown, he finally got over 100 yards for the year. It's nice to see. I like that guy. He's struggled with a lot in his past, but, he comes out, he tries hard. He's a big guy. He'll lay some people out. But, yeah, I mean, it was a crazy comeback. And then it was the 2 blocked field goals there in the fourth quarter by Jordan Davis, returning one of them for a touchdown. I don't think I've ever seen D lineman run that fast in my life.
Nope.
But, yeah, just a crazy game to watch. And this now makes it the Eagles winning 18 of their last 19 games.
19 out of 20. 19 out of 20 now.
19 out of 20 now.
Yeah.
I believe their last loss dates back to last December. So,
and it was a game that Jalen Hurts got hurt in and came out of the game. Yeah. So Jalen Hurts has won his last 19 games that he's completed, finished the game. Crazy. And they're still going to take a bunch of shit, the Eagles are, because they don't throw the ball enough, I guess, for the people on ESPN's liking. But, they've won 19 out of 20 games. If the Chiefs had won 19 out of 20, we'd be talking about how they're the greatest team of all time. The Eagles still get shit on. It's unbelievable how people talk about this Eagles team. Like, Jalen Hurts still is bad. Nick Sirianni is still a bad coach. It's like, when are we going to stop that? When is that going to end?
I mean, they're reigning champs.
They've won 19 out of 20 games.
If that's not telling you you're the best team in the league, I don't know what is. You got the Lombardi Trophy.
I don't understand. It's crazy. And I mean, in that second half, they looked great. Like the throwing game opened up the running game, and Saquon had a better half. And Jalen Carter was blocking kicks. Jordan Davis was blocking kicks, running 19 miles an hour down the field. Like crazy. But that was a wild game. Starts off our trend of blocked field goals. There were 3 blocked field goals in the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter on Sunday, and 4 in total in the fourth quarter. Those were both the most since 1978. Ridiculous. Just ridiculous. And another game that featured one of those wild plays, Jets-Bucks. This was another one of those games, kind of like what we just talked about, where it was a massive lead for one team. Like Rams were up on Philly. The Bucks were up on the Jets. What was it? 23-6 late in the game. And then out of nowhere, the Jets score on a 4th down. The Bucks bring it back into field goal range to kind of kick a field goal to put it out of reach. And Will McDonald jumps over the center, blocks it. It bounces right back into his chest, and he returns it for a touchdown. So literally 5 minutes after Jordan Davis blocked that kick and took it to the house for Philly, Will McDonald did it for the Jets. That put them up with 1 minute and 50 seconds left in the game. And you saw Aaron Glenn going down the sideline, going crazy. That was wild. And then what happens? You gave the ball back to Baker with too much time left on the clock. For the 3rd week in a row, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers end the day with a game-winning drive and win by a walk-off field goal. Baker Mayfield, the 2nd quarterback in NFL history to lead 3 game-winning drives to win their first 3 games of the season.
If you give Baker any time on the clock, it's a mistake. That guy is unbelievable. He gets the ball back after just a crazy turn of events where the game's going to be over. They're going to go up by 9. All of a sudden, they're losing with 1:50 to go. He says, all right, whatever. 28-yard pass to Emeka Egbuka. Follows that up. 20-yard pass to Sterling Shepard. Just immediately sets his field goal kicker up right away with a 36-yard field goal as time expired. It just looked too easy for him. And then they also have the Egbuka catch down the sideline that looked like maybe one of the greatest catches ever. I couldn't tell if he was in or not. Obviously, they called him out. But, I mean, just putting the ball wherever he wants. Gotta love Baker.
Baker's really entered himself into that conversation where, hey, you can't let this guy get the ball down in the fourth quarter. You just can't do it. He's in that Mahomes, Lamar, Josh Allen conversation where, hey, you can't let him get a chance or he's going to take advantage of it. He's awesome. Baker's awesome. I can't believe that Baker's not on the Browns. I can't believe he's not on the Browns. It's unbelievable that he's not.
Hey,
Speaking of the Browns, though.
It's their own doing.
Of course. And now they're sitting there with Joey Flacco and they can't score. But on Sunday, they found a way to score 13 points in the fourth quarter to beat what everyone was saying was the best team in football, the Green Bay Packers, 13-10. This was just a poop game. Punt. It was unbelievable how many punts there were in this game. The Packers didn't score a touchdown till the fourth quarter, right? Pretty sure. Maybe it was late third, but it was definitely in the second half.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was late third. It was late third. So 10-0 game with what? 4 minutes left. And then Love threw a pick to Grant Delpit. The Browns put together their only drive of the entire day, went down and scored a touchdown to tie it up, make it 10-10. And there was what? Like 2.5 minutes left to go at this point. Jordan Love and the Packers got the ball back.
240.
All the way inside field goal range with 27 seconds left. And then Shelby Harris blocked the go-ahead field goal attempt. Browns recover. All they had to do was get about 20 yards, and Njoku picked that up. And the guy's name was Schmidt.
Andre
Schmidt. 55-yarder for the win to take down the mighty Green Bay Packers.
This was, I'm sure a lot of people know, the upset of the weekend. You play a survival league. I know a lot of people lost that weekend on the Packers. It was an ugly game to watch. I mean, Packers couldn't move the ball. Browns couldn't move the ball. Really the only good story on either team's offense was Quinshon Judkins playing his second career game. He had 94 yards, 18 carries, a touchdown. And this is after missing all of training camp, dealing with, what we're not going to talk about here. But yeah, Jordan Love and the Packers offense, they struggled all day, only getting 230 total yards. Just a crazy turn of events again. And this all happened in 10 minutes? So,
after that pick, it was just bam, 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 bam. Crazy. Like that was the only drive they really put together after that pick.
Yeah. That Grant Delpit pick.
Yeah.
That's his 7th pick in the NFL. Also, obviously on Jordan Love. His 7th pick in college was also on Jordan Love.
Wow.
So a little bit of a reunion there for them too.
He played against Jordan Love in college? Didn't Grant Delpit go to LSU?
He either went to LSU or Clemson. I can't remember.
Man.
But yeah, a little intertwined there for both of them.
Interesting. All right, so that wraps up the 1 o'clock window. Bunch of wild plays to end that. The witching hour in the 1 o'clock window was crazy. Like I said, blocked field goal day. It was just the day of the blocked field goal. We saw 4 of them in just the fourth quarter. Insane. So now let's go to the 4 o'clocks. Probably the best game probably the best game we saw in this 4 o'clock window. Broncos-Chargers, a divisional rivalry. The Chargers trying to start the season 3-0, all against the division, and that's exactly what they do. They came back late. Justin Herbert threw an unbelievable touchdown pass to Keenan Allen to tie this game up. That was a crazy play. Escaped 2 sacks on the run to his left, just flicked it. It almost looked like it was almost like turning a double play, like a shortstop trying to turn a double play. Great throw, and then they get the ball back and kick a game-winning field goal as time expired. Just a crazy game, and they're 3-0 in the division to start the year. When's the last time that happened?
2002.
Who was it?
I'm sorry?
Who?
Chargers, they started 3-0.
They're the last team to do it too.
Yeah, last time since 2002.
Wow. Crazy.
Yeah, and obviously, prayers out to Najee Harris. This might hurt this
Yeah, that's
Chargers team the rest of the year. He tore his ACL.
tore his Achilles.
Achilles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I feel like that's even worse, right?
Yeah, probably.
They say the most painful injury. So, but yeah, I mean, Quentin Johnston just continues to ball. I believe this year 3 for him now, and he's finally finding his groove. They said he was like generational when he was coming out. He's 6'3", 6'4". He's a monster, but he just couldn't catch the ball his first 2 years. But he's starting to put it on the board.
I still think about that game he had against Michigan in the college football playoff back at TCU. That game made him a generational talent right there.
I remember the first time I ever watched him. He was obviously at TCU. He played Oklahoma State, and I want to say he had 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. I mean, it looked like we were playing Calvin Johnson out there. It was insane. And then I obviously drafted him in fantasy the first 2 years, and he just couldn't catch the ball. I was like, what is going on here? But he's really starting to come into his own, so I love to see that. But, I mean, another game-winning field goal as time expired, this time by Dicker the kicker. And, just like I said, again, a crazy Sunday of football.
And I know you said that's the first time they were 3-0 in the division since 2002, right? You said?
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact about that year. Old Silver and Black won the division that year and went to the Super Bowl. Come on now. So it don't matter. All hope is not lost, I guess. But we had the MVP of the league that year. We don't have it this year.
Rich Gannon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Going through the 4 o'clocks. Biggest blowout of the 4 o'clock by far. The Seattle Seahawks put 44 points on the New Orleans Saints, 44-13. They blocked a punt in this game. They returned a punt for a touchdown in this game. They looked unbelievable, and the Saints just continue to saint, I guess,
This is the best special teams in the league, and it's led by none other than Jim Harbaugh's son, Jay Harbaugh. So it's no shock. I mean, back-to-back weeks, special teams touchdown, like you said, a blocked punt, a punt return touchdown. They had the weird kickoff last week against the Steelers.
Oh, yeah.
Where they recovered that in the end zone. But, yeah, I mean, this team is playing. Sam Darnold had another great game. Honestly, I watched the whole game. I thought Rattler looked good, but they were just destroyed from the beginning. So it's not really much going on. But he fought all day. But like I said, this Seahawks special teams, it's what you're kind of used to seeing out of them.
Rookie Torrey Horton, 95-yard punt return touchdown, longest punt return in Seattle Seahawks history. And then he also caught a touchdown. So what a day for the rookie.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people. I saw Boomer. He was doing fastest 3 minutes last night. And he was like, Horton hears more than just a who. Good stuff. Boomer's the man. All right, keep going through that. NFC West matchup, 49ers Cardinals. This was a sloppy game. Defense galore. I feel like there was a lot of games like this. Just weird, slow-moving defensive games this week that ended in a walk-off field goal, which is exactly what happened here. The 49ers, did they cut Jake Moody or they just benched him? I don't even know. But they had Eddie Pinheiro. They cut him. He's done. So Eddie Pinheiro looks like he cemented his job after a game-winning field goal in his first week as a 49er.
Yeah, this was a weird game. And, if you're the Cardinals and, you have all this talent on your team, you need to win these in-division games against, the best teams in the division without their starting quarterback. You have to be able to win that game if you want to win the division. Yeah. But, I mean, it's the Mac Jones revenge tour. And it was a gutsy win by this 49ers team without, obviously, Brock Purdy. But, I mean, yeah, Cardinals couldn't move the ball. 49ers finally started getting it going there in third and fourth quarter. Ricky Pearsall had a good day. And like you said, another game-winning field goal as time expired to push the 49ers to 3-0, and Eddie Pinheiro, the man.
And another massive injury suffered by this 49ers team. Already have lost Brock Purdy. He's hoping to be back by next week, maybe the week after. Kittle's out, and now Nick Bosa out for the season with a torn ACL. Just a brutal loss for the defensive line there.
Dude, I mean, they're banged up and beaten down, but they continue to find a way to win. But you need your guys back when it matters. Absolutely.
And this is 2 years in a row now for them where they're just injury bug is just plaguing them all over the place. And another thing,
not even mentioned because he hasn't played yet, but Ayuk is also out. I don't think he's come back till October, November. So
yeah. So let's move on now. Cowboys Bears. This was brought up to be one of the games of the weekend, but the Bears took control in the second half. It was 14-14 at halftime. Looked like it was going to be a great game, but this Bears offense came out swinging in the second half. Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams finally looked like they were clicking on all cylinders, and 31 points looks like it could be good. And next week, guess who they play? Could be a problem for us.
Yeah, I mean, Caleb Williams, ball. I believe it's his first game in the NFL without getting sacked. So
yeah.
Props to him for not getting hit on Sunday. But yeah, 298 yards, 4 touchdowns. Like you said, him and Ben Johnson, I feel like they're really starting to come together. I don't know what's going on in Dallas. You're supposed to win this game if you want to make the playoffs, you want to compete. But I mean, obviously, Lamb that hurt. He left early. But you have so many pieces on this offense. You have George Pickens, Javonte Williams, Ferguson, Bald. But it looked like once they got past midfield, Dak didn't know what to do with the ball. They had a lot of first downs, but he had a lot of completions, but none of them were. He had 31 completions, but I think he had under 300 passing yards. So it was just a weird game. They couldn't tackle on defense. They really just got beat.
Let me give you my take on the Cowboys, right? Going into this season, right, before Micah got traded, like when they were literally getting talked about 24 hours a day on SportsCenter and ESPN and all the networks.
Well, that's every offseason.
Well, yeah, but this year more than ever. But yeah. I feel like people, like the vast, like overarching people, like the media, thought the Cowboys were going to be good this year. Even like when they had Micah Parsons, right? Or obviously when they had Micah Parsons, but they thought the Cowboys were going to be good this year. Thought they were going to be a playoff caliber team. I was listening to that talk and I was like, why? For what reason do we think that? I know they could have a good offense. Like Dak, last time he was healthy, he was second in MVP. He could have won MVP that year. He was great. CD's great. Now they have George Pickens. Jake Ferguson's good. Their offense, they have weapons. They can score. Did we forget how bad the Cowboys were on defense last year with Micah Parsons? They were this was the same thing they were doing last year. They were giving up so many yards. The first 8 weeks of the season last year, they were the worst defense in the history of football, yardage-wise. They were giving up the most yards any team has ever given up through 8 weeks. So we just forgot about that and thought they were going to be good this year. I kind of thought they were going to be bad the whole time, even if Micah stayed. So this isn't really surprising to me. The defense is terrible.
It is really bad. I'm shocked they're not really scoring easily either, though. Even, last week, the shootout against the Giants were moving the ball, it looked like a lot easier than the Cowboys were. Yeah. They can't really get anything going downfield. Everything's, they got to methodically move down the field. And when your defense is that bad, you got to be able to score with them.
Yeah, like I can understand the people being surprised why the Cowboys offense isn't clicking so well, but I don't know how anyone could be surprised why this team isn't so good because this defense has been bad.
Yeah. And, Jerry Jones, he swears he got a great deal on that Micah deal.
All right, Jerry, I'll talk to you back in December, dude. And you're eliminated already, bro. God. Okay, so that wraps up the Sunday day games. Let's move into Sunday night football. The Kansas City Chiefs traveled to MetLife Stadium to play the Giants, and this was the first time in the history of the Chiefs that they won a game against the Giants on the road.
Wow.
Pretty surprising stat, right? You would not think that, but I guess the Giants used to be good, We're just so used to them being terrible now.
Chiefs weren't really all that great until, around the 2010s. So
until that guy, sounds like Kermit the Frog showed up and made everything great for them. They weren't good before that.
Oh man, yeah, this was an ugly game to watch. Nothing about it was enjoyable. You have Chris Collinsworth just absolutely loving Mahomes for a fumble, and then he rips the ball out, and it's like, I've never seen a quarterback ever do that in my life. And it's like, that's cool, bro. You just lost 17 yards. Now it's 30-27. Why are we gassing up a quarterback for losing 17 yards? But yeah, it was an ugly game to watch. Obviously, the Chiefs are supposed to win this game. They didn't win by as much as I feel like they should have, and they didn't look as good as they should have. But, they found a way to win. Their defense is obviously really good. But, the story for the Giants is Russell Wilson struggled. I didn't love that 4th and goal they had late in the game where he threw the ball away.
Guy's playing a crossbar challenge on 4th and goal with 3 minutes left in the 4th quarter. What are we doing?
Are you trying to save your stats? Like, you have to at least give your receiver a chance if you want to win the game because it was, 22-9 at that point?
There's a guy on their team named Malik Neighbors, You know that guy, Malik Neighbors? Ever heard of him, Sal? Maybe he can catch a jump ball.
He had 2 catches yesterday, lowest in his career. It was, or not yesterday, Sunday night. But yeah, it was an ugly game. The only thing the Giants had going was the rookie running back, Cam Scatterbo. He led their backfield in touches and yards. He had the most receptions and yards and the only touchdown of the game.
So and he did a standing backflip.
I didn't see that.
You didn't see that?
No.
Dude, he's the man, dude. He just scored that touchdown and just ripped up a backflip.
Dude, he looked like a fullback, dude.
He does, bro. He's Mike Allstott with like Shady McCoy shaking big, dude.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the question around New York is when are they going to give the rookie a chance? I don't think he's ready just yet. I would give him more time. I mean, this team isn't going anywhere this year, so might as well let him learn. You know, he's got the headset on, he's listening, he's practicing calling plays. So any more practice you can give him, I believe, is good practice. So
what will get him more ready, though? That's my question. What's going to get him more ready?
I would hate to throw him out there on a Sunday night game against a really good Chiefs defense.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not saying they should have put him in this week. I also don't think they should do it next week because they have another hard game. Their schedule is insanely hard, by the way. I don't know how the Giants, having such a bad record last year, have such a hard schedule. But next week they play the Chargers, which is one of the best defenses of football. So, no. Then they go to New Orleans.
I'd probably try to use him a good amount in that game. But you want to bring him in and have him have his first, real snaps and real passes in a game that might favor him a little bit. You'd hate for him to get beat down and throw 3 interceptions in his first career game. So
Sal, I have a question for you though. So I'm going to read you their schedule and you tell me when, how, where. So next week they're playing the Chargers.
Negative. You just use them on that read option again.
And then they're playing the Saints in New Orleans.
I would like to see him get a few drives in that game.
But then they play the Eagles.
Negative.
No. And then you go to Denver.
No.
And then you go to Philadelphia. And then you play the Niners. And then you play the Bears. And then you play the Packers. And then the Lions. And then you go to the Patriots, Commanders, Vikings. That's tough, man. There's really nowhere to put them in there. I keep hearing this argument, we don't want to throw them in the fire. Where else? There's only fire. There's only fire on this Giant schedule. I don't know where else you're going to do it unless it's New Orleans.
Why do they have such a hard schedule?
I don't know. But I understand what you're saying. You don't want to just throw him into the fire and have him struggle because that could kill his confidence. But at the same time, I don't know when is a good time to do it. I guess New Orleans, but then you throw him out there against Philly and then Denver and then Philly again. I don't know, man. That's tough. That's tough. If you're going to do it, I think you got to do it. Probably New Orleans. And if you don't do it, then I think you might have to just not do it this year. Literally, what are you going to do? You're going to wait until Packers Lions territory? I don't know, man. This is kind of a weird situation, especially with Daboll and Shane potentially getting fired this year.
Yeah. If it was me looking at that schedule, I would probably wait until week 8, week 9, no matter who they play. Just try to inch them in more and more. I didn't realize they played that hard of a schedule down the stretch. And it honestly doesn't make sense to me why they do.
Doesn't
they need to be playing teams in the Big 12, not teams in the NFL.
They're playing the Pokes, dude.
Yeah. Oh man. Right. But yeah, that's a rough beat for the New York G-men.
I mean, I have a feeling that based off of watching Russ play, the only time he's looked anywhat good, which was I guess the best game of his career, was against the Cowboys, who we're talking about might be the worst defense in football. I think that they're going to play the Chargers next week. How many points are they going to score against the Chargers? They're probably going to lose that game and not score a touchdown, potentially. If that happens, if they have another really ugly game at home next week against the Chargers, I could see them pulling dart in New Orleans.
I don't think, coming in, if it wasn't for that last pass by Russell Wilson where he threw it out of bounds on 4th and goal, I don't think it would be as much of a discussion as it is now. But that's just what are you doing as a quarterback?
But did you see the pass on first down though?
Yeah, he threw it away 3 times in a row. It's just you want to give your team the best chance to win, and obviously they feel coming into the year it's Russell Wilson, but then you see him do that 3 times in a row, and it's how is he giving us the best chance to win when he's just saving an interception on his part?
And you know who's not throwing the balls away like that? You know who's not making those throws?
Gino?
Jameis.
Oh, yeah.
Jameis is throwing that thing into the closed window. Not even a tight window, a closed window. He doesn't care.
Dude, I would love to see him get some burn somewhere else. Like the Bengals, man. Could you imagine Jameis Winston with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase? Dude,
5,000 yards, 30-30 again. He's doing it.
They might break every potential passing and receiving record in history.
And pick record.
Yeah. But they might score 50 points a game. But, he might have 2 or 3 pick sixes a game.
Dude, it would be 45-41 every week. Why do we not want to watch that? Like,
dude, he delivered what has to be probably the best press conference after a pick six in history last year. What do you say? I pray the Lord will deliver me from pick sixes. It's not me. It's not me.
I pray the Lord will deliver me from pick sixes. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
I just know I'm better than that.
I just pray. Like, I think my favorite game of the season last year, my favorite game of the year was the Thursday night game where Jameis beat the Steelers in the snow. Like, I pray for another game like that this year. Like, that was so awesome.
Dude, he is so cool. I mean, how could you not love the guy?
He's awesome. He's the man. Imagine, you know what I always think about now with like the way college football works now and like all these guys are getting paid. Like this dude got free crab legs and got suspended. And it was a whole scandal. Like it was a massive thing.
And everybody hated him for a while.
Hated him for it. Hated him for that.
Yeah.
Guy was just trying to eat, man.
Yeah. I mean, dude, one of my favorite Jameis stories, you'll hear like LaShawn McCoy and all them tell it on the Bucks. Like his famous pregame speech he gave there.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, what is he doing? Like he's never gave a pregame speech. LaShawn McCoy is cracking up trying to like tell the story. He's like, dude, what are you doing?
And Deshaun Jackson's face when that's happening is unbelievable.
Oh my God.
So good.
Everybody was just in awe. It's crazy.
What a guy. All right. So one more game, Monday Night Football to wrap this thing up. Lions-Ravens, which was chalked up to be a great game, and it was exactly that. Offenses came out firing. Big goal line stand in the second quarter by the Lions, but it was tied 14-14 at halftime. And then the Ravens came out and scored a touchdown, and the Lions ripped off like a 10-minute and 40-second drive that scored a touchdown. The longest drive that any team has had this season. It was a great game. Another late game fumble by Derrick Henry that kind of put it out of reach. They got the ball back down by 6 then, right? Had a chance to, I guess, shorten it or go up by 1 with a touchdown, but Henry fumbled again. He's got 10 carries in the fourth quarter this year. He's fumbled twice. In his career before this season, he had 545 carries in the fourth quarter and 2 fumbles. He's matched it in 10 carries this year.
Well, for all my fantasy users, it's a good time to trade for him while he's low. But, yeah, it was chalked up to be such a fun game to watch, and it certainly didn't disappoint. Lamar Jackson, decent day, 288 yards, 3 touchdowns. But the big story, obviously the fumble, but the Lions ran a spy all game and didn't really let him escape the pocket, which led to 7 sacks, which matches his previously career high. But I mean, you can say all you want about the defense and how the Ravens played, but if you can't stop Thunder and Lightning in the backfield for Detroit and Montgomery and Gibbs, you're never going to be able to beat them. I mean, they accounted for 263 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's just unheard of. It reminds you of Reggie Bush and Lindale White at USC in 2004. That's really what it looks like. So it's awesome to see. And then you also have the Dan Campbell trick plays, that sick triple option touchdown where they handed it off to St. Brown. He flipped it to Gibbs for his second touchdown of the night. We talked about it pregame. We didn't even know that Dan Campbell was on the Saints in 2019. And you can kind of look it up. They ran that exact same play one time that year where they flipped it to Taysom Hill and he ran for like 20 yards. But it was just awesome to see. Another great game by the Lions and a great play call by Dan Campbell.
Yeah, I love when the Lions are running these crazy plays. The double pass, the triple option thing, it was crazy. Crazy plays. The Lions are so easy and fun to root for when they're running plays like that. And Dave Montgomery, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. Or was it 1 or 2? Did Gibbs have 2?
They both had 2.
They both had 2. Wow. 152 touchdowns. Gibbs had 2 touchdowns, and Amon-Ra had a touchdown. That was the 10th game that all 3 of those guys have scored. Amon-Ra, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Dave Montgomery. 10 times all 3 of them have scored. That's the most by any trio in NFL history.
Yeah, they're so hard to stop when they're rolling like that. There's so much trickery, and they were confusing Lamar Jackson on defense all day. And they're not known for their defense necessarily, but they're lining up in man, and then they're dropping back in zone, or they're lining up man, and they're dropping back in man. They're just kind of leaving him in shambles all day. But yeah, I mean, Mark Andrews had a solid day though. I believe he had 2 touchdowns, so that's nice to see.
Is it time to start talking about the Ravens as primetime chokers? The Ravens have lost 16 games in the last 5 years when they've had a lead in the fourth quarter. That is 7 more than any team in football.
That's the Harbaugh effect, man. He loves going for it on 4th down at midfield, and then they always have a great defense, but they put him in the worst situations. I mean, it's crazy. They did it week 1, obviously.
I mean, Dan Campbell does it too.
They did it a few years ago against the Dolphins. They're up 35-14 in the 4th. I mean, you can go on and on and on. There's like, what'd you say, 7?
7 more than any other team. 16 in the last 5 years.
Unbelievable. Crazy. It's such a good team on paper, but it kind of hurts the way they just will blow a game when they have it under wraps.
It's kind of the opposite way we talk about them. Then now we talk about like the Bucs, because Baker just finds a way now. He always finds a way. And it seems like the Ravens find a way to lose the game somehow.
Maybe they're over there betting like Pete Rose.
Oh, maybe. Hey, Pete Rose was betting on himself to win, though. Hey.
Oh, man. So
right,
through week 3, we got 6 3-0 teams. And then on the other end, we have 6 0-3 teams. Now, Frank, if you had to pick, who's the worst 3-0 team? Who's the best 3-0 team?
Let me look at all the teams in front of me. Let me look up. Hold on. Let me get this here. So Buffalo, San Francisco.
Yeah, you got Tampa, San Fran, Eagles, Chargers, Colts, and Bills.
I think if I were to say the best 3-0 team right now, I think it would be a toss-up between probably the Bills and the Chargers. I think I would
agree with that.
And as much as you see all this right behind me, and I don't like these teams because they're my rivals, right? But I kind of think I have to lean towards the Chargers. The Chargers defense has looked unbelievable. Nobody has moved the ball easily against the Chargers. Nobody at all. The Bills gave up 40 points to the Ravens. They gave up a decent offensive day by the Dolphins. I just think I have a little bit more confidence in the Chargers defense. The Chargers look like, I think, the best team in the AFC right now, or best team in football right now.
I like that. Me personally, I'd probably lean more the Bills way. I guess you get to see the Chargers a little better as a Raiders fan. I get to see the Bills a little better
Yep.
as a Dolphins fan. So I see the Bills as unstoppable when it matters. I mean, Josh Allen is a beast, but Justin Herbert is playing out of his mind too. So I would love to be able to see a little matchup between those two. It's kind of a toss-up for me who I think the worst 3-0 team is, because it's hard to really be the worst 3-0 team, but I mean, it's really you got to be either the Bucs or the Colts.
Yeah,
Bucs. I mean, they've won 3 close games, obviously, where 3 Baker comebacks, but I'd probably lean
maybe
more
San Francisco.
Yeah, with all the injuries they're having too. Yeah,
their offense has been a little sketchy so far.
I guess it obviously depends when Brock Purdy comes back. Yeah, I could definitely see San Fran as the worst 3-0 team.
And what about 0-3, Sal?
Yeah, who do you think the worst 0-3 team is?
I don't know if this is close. I think it's the Giants, and it might not be close. The Giants defense was supposed to be very good. They gave up 45 points in week 2 to the Cowboys. It's been okay, but their offense is actually unwatchable. Like they played the Cowboys, who we've also talked about being a terrible defense, but in the other 2 games, their offense is unwatchable. They didn't scored a touchdown with Scatterbo, but only 1 touchdown in the other 2 games combined. I mean, I guess you could say the Saints, but like you said, Rattlers looked solid.
And they've had a chance to win the first 2 games of the year. So
True.
It's hard to say a team that, has had 2 opportunities to win is worse than a team that only really had 1 and their defense looked terrible in that game. So, I like the Giants being the worst team in the league at the moment.
And what do you think about the best 0-3 team? This is a little.
I feel like you kind of know where I'm going to go with this one. I mean, it's definitely a toss-up between the Dolphins and the Texans. If you look at the rosters on paper, it's got to be the Dolphins, and then we kind of have a favorable, next 4 or 5 games. But I mean, Texans are technically a better team. They won a playoff game. Was that last year or the year before?
Last year.
Yeah, we haven't won one since 2000, so it's got to be the Texans as the best 0-3 team right now, probably. But they look terrible.
I mean, I would argue the Dolphins look better than them. The Dolphins have been able to move the ball at times. The Texans feel like they literally can't. They have one person who can, but at the same time, Tua has made those like just unfathomable mistakes that he just never makes.
And I would count on CJ Stroud down the line more than I would on Tua. As much as I love him as a person, but he's no Dan Marino. But both teams are 0-3 nonetheless, and both teams look terrible. So
we'll see if these 0-3 teams will continue to look bad and these 3-0 teams continue to look good, or if something changes. But obviously it will. We're not going to have an undefeated team, I bet. Do you think there ever will be a 17-0 team in the regular season?
Who do you think has the best chance this year to do it?
I mean, the Chargers, maybe Philly, just because they win. Philly knows how to win the game no matter what they do. If they look terrible, they still win. But I just don't see it happening. 17 in a row is crazy. That's a lot of games.
Chiefs won 15 last year, and I did not think they were a good team.
They won 15 games last year. The Lions won 15 games last year.
What did the Chiefs win? 14?
Did they win 15 games last year?
I think they did. I think they were the 1 seed.
They were the 1 seed, but they won 15 games?
Dude, and every single one of them was ugly.
They won 15 games, dude. Jeez, that's crazy. Screw them.
That's crazy.
And that's funny. Like, see, I've been playing against and watching this Chiefs team since Mahomes' first game, right? They are just inevitable. Like, as much as I want them to be done just to stop making my football life miserable, like, I wish that they could not be good, but I already know they're going to be 12, 13, 14 wins this year. It doesn't matter. Like, they're 1-2. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
They're going to find a way to win every week. Their offense wasn't good last year, and they still won.
Yeah, and it's going to be the same way this year.
Super Bowl, so.
Yeah, that's going to be the same thing. So the Chiefs are still the Chiefs. Some teams just continue to be some teams like that one in the silver and black, and this one over here in the teal. What technically are the Dolphins' colors? Aqua?
Aqua,
okay. So, yep, that was after week 3. We'll catch you back after week 4. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. A lot of fun storylines, a lot of injuries, and a lot of crazy blocked field goals this week. So we'll see what the storyline is after week 4. For Frank Rampin, Sal Grinstead, we'll see you next week. Peace out.